Hey there, welcome to Holistic Mojo. I am Sahara Lee, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about vegans, vegetarians, carnivores, and your right to choose. This is a never-ending topic, and it's a topic that got brought up today on my Facebook feed, and I had a really awesome conversation with two friends of mine who are both vegan. And I find that there's always this controversy around what's morally right, what's environmentally right, what's politically right. But nobody really takes into consideration what's physically right for your body. And that is something that only you and your body can decide. And I feel that if more of us actually understood how our body worked and what it needed, we wouldn't be, one, in such a divided mindset, and we wouldn't be in a position environmentally or financially where there appears to be only one right answer or one right way. So I want to dive a little bit more into that because I've traveled the world teaching vegetarian cooking classes, and the thing I find most often is that people have no idea how to eat for their body. My body is different than your body, is different than the person next to you's body. Like, we are all a different equation of properties. Hot, cold, wet, dry, light, heavy, all of these different words that we could use to describe. We are our very own, each of us, our very own unique equation. And every single thing out there in the world also is its very own unique equation. What does that mean? So that means that everything you put in your body, everything you put on your body, every color you surround yourself, every person you surround yourself, every wave that you surf, every way you decide to get to work, every job, every single piece of existence that you encounter in every second of every day is either bringing you closer to balance or further away from balance, which is an awesome concept when you think about it, because how much power do you have to create your reality when you know that? The problem is we're not taught that. We're not taught what our equation is, and we're not taught what the world's equation around us is. So when it comes to food, I had a really interesting question come from my friend today. We were talking about, she lives in Hawaii, I live in Sweden, and I used to live in Hawaii. And I said, she was like, talking about, what does my body do? How do I know the difference? And I was like, when I'm in Hawaii, I can be vegetarian. 100%. Like, Hawaii's lush. I feel really grounded and warm and lush and moist. But when I'm in Sweden, especially in the winter, I do not feel that way. I am cold and it's like inert would be a good word to use. Like, it's just like everything tightens down and I'm inert. I don't have good energy. I don't, I cannot get warm. I don't have good energy. I'm losing a lot of weight and I am hungry 24/7 if I'm vegetarian. I'm not vegetarian. I'm in what I call an omnivore, meaning I eat whatever my body needs. And as a little caveat to that, I always make sure when it's possible that the food I'm eating and consuming, everything that I'm consuming, in all honesty, is as sustainably and mindfully sourced as possible. Because I have to take care of me and my body, but I also have to take care of the world. So it's like voting with your dollars. I make the choice to put my money into the places that I believe in that are going to support my body. So my diet in Hawaii is very different than my diet in Sweden, not just because they're drastically different and I'm able to get different things, but because I need different things when I'm in those two locations. So she goes, so you're telling me that like a warm lentil soup and a warm stew are going to be different to you. They're like, if you're cold, they're going to react with your body differently. And I said, it's not the temperature of the food I'm eating. It's the property of the food that I'm eating. So different foods have different properties. Some are easy to digest and some are more challenging to digest. Some are really warming in nature. Some are cooling in nature. Some are like warming really fast and some are warming really slowly. Some are cooling really fast and some are cooling really slowly. So my constitution in Ayurvedic medicine is Vata cold, Pitta hot. So I am wind, space, fire, and water. And then I'm in opposition of hot and cold, which means if I'm not careful, I'll get really hot and overheat, or I will get really cold and go inert. So I have to watch my food and my life choices based upon those different properties, because that's what I know my properties are. So if I'm going to have warming foods, I need slow warming foods. I don't want anything that's going to spike my fire, because that's just going to make me irritable. It's going to make me angry. It's going to bring up all those negative fire emotions, resentment, stubbornness. Where on the other side, if I go with a food that's super cooling, super fast, I'm going to go inert, and then I'm going to be incapable of making a decision. I'm going to have high anxiety. I'm going to have insomnia. So there's positives and negatives in every aspect, and our job is to nourish the positives and to balance out those negatives. So like peppermint is really quickly cooling. So for me, peppermint is not the best option, especially in a cool climate. If I'm really overheating, peppermint is great to cool me down. So on a heating example, like really spicy hot sauce is going to spike me really, really fast. I have to be careful with my sweeteners, like have a very mild sweetener that's not going to spike me too fast. Otherwise, I go into that negative pitta place. So it's all about finding your balance, and it's about the properties. And we're all different. So there have been more than a few vegans that I have had to nourish back to health because they had no concept of how to eat for their body type. They were just wasting away. And it's not to say that you can't be vegan, or that you have to eat meat, or that you shouldn't eat meat. It's understanding how food reacts to your body. So it's like, if you run really dry and you're cold, don't eat dry, cold foods. You can still be vegan, just have moist, warm, nourishing foods. It's really about listening to your body and tuning into that and opening your mind. I was in a workshop in Bali a few years ago, and they fed us food every day for lunch, and we happened to be having all vegan meals. Just the caterer happened to be a vegan caterer. So we get our meals, and like every day it's just soy and mushrooms. And my body cannot, like, soy is the most difficult to digest food and is also the coldest food. And mushrooms are too fungusy. Like, my system already is prone to dampness. So I put like a fungus in there, and I'm fungusy enough. I'm already growing enough mold inside of me. I don't need that additional moisture, that dampness. And I said to my girlfriend, I started bringing my own food, and she was like, why are you bringing your own food? And I said, well, I don't eat soy or mushrooms. And she goes, what do you eat? I was like, food. I eat food. Like, when people think of vegetarian food, they think of this like tiny little section of food where it's like, do you know how many plant species are out there? Berries, nuts, all that stuff. Do you know how many species there are? And you're limiting your stuff to like processed soy chicken nuggets and mushroom burgers. It's like, yo, there's so much more out there. So I have like traveled the world teaching vegetarian cooking classes, even though I am not personally vegetarian most of the time, because I feel so strongly that vegetarians need to understand how to cook for themselves and broaden their food. Not all of them, obviously, but what I've come across is people are like, I eat pasta and cheese, and that's mushrooms and some soy. And I'm like, no wonder you're not shitting daily. And then carnivores just are like, meat and potatoes. Like, they don't have any concept of like vegetarian foods. It's like, I love that I cook these vegetarian foods that are super easy, probiotic, balancing for the body. I'm explaining all the herbs. I'm explaining all of the different aspects of the dish and how they relate in the body, so that people know, oh, well, great, avocado's cooling, and that's why you see guacamole and avocado used in hot countries. Cilantro, also cooling. Cilantro, great for detoxifying. Teaching all this stuff so that people can be like, oh my God, this works for me. This doesn't work for me. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. Oh, I just need to switch out a spice in this one dish, and then it's going to be really balancing for my body. And oh my God, this was so easy and so delicious. It's all about expanding your mind, and it's about expanding your knowledge base, getting curious about the food you're putting in your body and how it's affecting you. So if you're out there and you're sitting there thinking, man, I'd really like to change my diet. I'd like to start introducing meat or animal products of any sort, or I'd like to start pulling that stuff out of my diet, or I just want to eat better for my body. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to sleep better. Call me, email me, text me. Let's set up an appointment, and I can work with you specifically on your needs, based on your equation, based upon your job, your environment, like where you live, who you live with, all that stuff you can balance with food. And then you can add some self-care in there. And all these things are going to help you live such a more balanced, calm, joyful existence. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and click the link below and shoot me a message. If you've got any questions, please toss those into the comment section below. And I'm going to be doing a whole thing on the dairy industry. I worked in the raw dairy industry for a while, and there's a huge difference between small batch raw dairy and the mass-produced pasteurized stuff that is so easy to come across. So I decided to devote an entire video to that because it's a fucking shit show, people. So yeah, I want to make sure you're as educated as you possibly can be as you make the best choices for you. No judgments, no shame, no guilt. You know what's right for your body. You make those choices and you move on with life. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a good one. Aloha.